Welcome to a candidate forum featuring candidates for Rancho Cordova City Council. I'm Kathy Souza, a member of the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the moderator of today's forum. This forum is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission. The forum is being viewed live by an audience in the Sacramento Board of Supervisors chambers and by a live cable television audience at home. It is also being taped for rebroadcast on Metro Cable Channel 14. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization of women and men established to promote political responsibility through informed, active participation in government. The League does not support, oppose, or evaluate political candidates or parties. Although our nonpartisan policy does not permit endorsement of political candidates, we do, after careful study, take positions on political issues. The format for today's forum will be as follows. Each candidate will make a 1-minute opening statement. Next, the candidates will respond to questions from our panel. The questions were submitted by the panelists and reviewed by League members. Each candidate will then have 1 minute to respond to each question. Finally, the candidates will have 1 minute to make a closing statement. In the interest of time and decorum, I ask our audience to hold all applause until the end of the forum. And now I would like to introduce the candidates who are running for Rancho Cordova City Council. Linda Budge.
Thank you, Kathy.
Dan Skoglund.
Hello.
And Pedro Hernandez.
Thank you, Kathy.
Welcome, and thank you for participating today. Our media panelists today are Shelley Blanchard from the Grapevine Independent and Russ Farrow from the Lodi News Sentinel and a resident of Rancho Cordova. Thank you very much for participating today. And now we're ready to begin. We'll start with our opening statements, beginning with Ms. Budge.
Well, once again, we have the League of Women Voters to thank for this forum. In the 3 decades that I've served in public office, I've been here several times, and I'm always impressed with what a wonderful communication vehicle this is. In Rancho Cordova, cityhood is all about communications. As a matter of fact, on our next City Council agenda, we have our 2006-2007 communications plan up for discussion. Our City Hall is located right in the middle of Rancho Cordova on equal access by all forms of public transit. We're a very transparent city. Every one of our city documents is on our internet, on the website. In the 35 years that I've held public office, I have always supported responsible, responsive, representative government, and the League of Women Voters Forum is helping us to achieve that.
Thank you. Mr. Skoglund?
Thank you. Good afternoon. Before I begin, I wish to thank the League of Women Voters, the Sacramento Bee, and the Grapevine Independent for participating in this forum. I'm Dan Skoglund, a 31-year resident of Rancho Cordova, and I'm on the Rancho Cordova City Council. In April 2004, I answered the call of duty when the City Council unanimously appointed me upon the untimely passing of our late Mayor Dave Roberts, to replace him on the City Council. Since being appointed, I have worked diligently to represent the interests of all Rancho Cordovans. With your support, I will advocate for safer streets, smart growth, responsible governing, while providing effective leadership to improve Rancho Cordova's quality of life. It's an honor to represent the people of Rancho Cordova every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. As a representative of the City Council, I will bring a demonstrated history of neighborhood involvement and community experience in Rancho Cordova. 31 years resident and a key member of the effort to make Rancho Cordova a city. I understand the needs of our city. For 31 years, I have been fighting for the city. For 31 years, I have been able to work with the community in getting rid of drugs and gangs. And with your help, I can make Rancho a bigger and better city with a voice for you, the community citizens. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're ready to begin with our questions. Our first panelist will be Ms. Blanchard, and the first candidate to respond will be Ms. Budge.
Hello, candidates. The number one goal of the current city council is to foster a positive image of Rancho Cordova. Give me a couple specific examples of how best to meet that mark.
It's a very important goal for Rancho Cordova, and one of the things that we do every day, each one of us, whether it's the city council or the city staff, we work to represent Rancho Cordova in the most positive manner possible. We're all selling an image. We are, and when we don't realize we're selling, we stop listening. We listen to the needs of our citizens. We represent those needs in the best manner possible. We work for a positive image in Rancho Cordova on all levels within this county, whether we represent the city at a boarding commission that's a regional boarding commission, or when we talk to the local newspapers, we are always positively representing Rancho Cordova. We even have been through a branding campaign that will help us embark on a next level of public relations for the city.
Mr. Skoglund?
Thank you. Positive image starts with effective leadership. I have, in the last 2.5 years, participated in all levels of city as far as participation, recognizing staff for leading the city in different directions and completing goals for the city. But effective leadership is one of the things that's going to start with helping us have a better, better place to live. Another thing, too, would be making our community feel safer also. That's another factor that would really help in assisting the city to change its image. We have a new chief of police, which is a definite benefit, and he seems to want to really work with the council and with the community in making sure that we have safe streets and people can feel safe walking down streets at night. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. Currently, one of the biggest problems that we got is the Folsom Boulevard area. That area needs to be revitalized. We need to bring business back. We need to work with employers for jobs. We need to get rid of the gangs that are coming back again. We need to work with the citizens and improving and listening to what they have to say. They have some concerns. I have some concerns. I think the city council is not paying attention to the citizens, and I will be a voice for the citizens in cleaning up Rancho Cordova.
Okay, our next question will be from Mr. Farrow, and our first candidate to respond will be Mr. Skoglund.
With all the growth going on in south of Highway 50, especially along Sunrise Boulevard, is Rancho Cordova growing too quickly, or is it growing at the right pace? And will that growth benefit current residents?
Thank you. I do feel that at this point in time, we are using smart growth tactics with our developers and builders. Again, we're used to dealing with the county when all the growth started, and now they're dealing with the city. What we really need to have in place as part of smart growth is having infrastructure in place before the growth really continues at a full pace. I don't think there's going to be, in our general plan, which we just approved, there's a lot of technical and stops to help if growth gets out of control. We can slow things down if we have to, but growing it smartly is the way to do it. We need to have infrastructure in place, and we need to watch and make sure development pays for itself when it's helping us grow. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. One of the things that we look at is when you develop a city, my concern is that not all the emphasis be put in the south of Rancho Cordova, but that equal amount of effort be put into what is called the riverside, the north side of Folsom Boulevard. The citizens have been asking We became a city because we wished to change our image. Our image has been not of the greatest, and now we have an opportunity, but I believe too much emphasis is being placed on the Riverside area. Thank you.
Ms. Budge.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the curiosities of government financing in California, we have to grow. For too long, Rancho Cordova has been stagnant. We haven't built new housing. Our property tax base has not grown. The service providers who provide park service, fire service, have not had any increase in their budgets because we have not been growing. In addition, retail follows rooftops. The only way we can get back to being wonderful full-service retail again, or the retail that we see in the other new growth areas of Sacramento County, is to grow the rooftops. But we are making sure that the growth is a direct benefit to our residents who voted for cityhood to begin with. One of the first things we did was to work with the home builders on establishing a park renovation fee. And that's just one example, but every home that is built in Rancho Cordova will help to remodel the parks in the existing Riverside Rancho.
Thank you. Our next panelist will be Ms. Blanchard, and the first candidate to respond will be Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you.
A recent survey of Rancho Cordova residents found that only 7% of citizens in Rancho Cordova feel safe walking on Folsom Boulevard alone after dark. What are you doing, or what would you do to change that statistic?
Thank you. One of the concerns that I have is because it's such a long stretch and there's such vacancy along Folsom Boulevard. As you're well aware, Folsom Boulevard was referred to as a service-based strip, where in fact there was bars, liquor stores, and so on, undesirable kind of activity on the streets. Now we have an opportunity of cleaning up all of Folsom Boulevard. We need to improve the lighting, and if necessary, we need to put in phone booths, emergency phone booths, in order so in case a citizen needs assistance, they can obtain that immediate service quickly. I look forward in cleaning up that whole area. It is not a very pretty sight for any community.
Ms. Budge.
Shelley, you're right. There is no greater duty of any government than to ensure the safety and security of its residents. And, you know, at the Chamber of Commerce for the last 11 years, we've been working on remodeling the streetscape of Rancho Cordova, bringing sidewalks, bringing street lights, and now we're also doing a Folsom Boulevard specific plan to change the land uses along Folsom Boulevard to help reinvest in that important artery of our town. But this really is an important, it's not just Folsom Boulevard. We need people to feel safe and secure, whether they're at home, whether they're at school, whether they're going to church, whatever they're doing. And so starting on Monday morning, our new police chief has organized a targeted effort to move through the neighborhoods that are high call volume neighborhoods. It's going to be a multi-agency group, and it's going to go on for 4 to 8 weeks, and we look forward to some progress being made.
Mr. Skoglund.
Thank you. As a 31-year resident in Rancho Cordova, I've lived with Folsom Boulevard for 31 years. So, to the south side of the boulevard, we have light rail, which is very helpful to our community. It brings many visitors through our community. It helps us get to other places in the region also. But on the north side, over the years, we've had problematic businesses, which can attract nuisances and problematic people. We need more street lighting on the boulevard. As my colleague indicated, we have a Folsom Boulevard specific plan which is going into place. But there needs to be more activity with the police too, to make sure that we can walk down to Starbucks or whatever's open late and feel safe and walk back home. So there are things we need to work on in Folsom Boulevard. Thank you.
Okay, our next question will be from Mr. Farrow. And the first candidate to respond will be Ms. Budge.
How has the Sheriff's Department performed since incorporation, and what improvements would you suggest?
Ross, aside from the fact that we've had 3 police chiefs, and I have to tell you that every one of them has been a wonderful community participant, and one of them still serves on the Cordova Community Council board, but it's been a little disjointed. So as I said, now Chief Reuben Meeks has organized everyone into a multi-agency concentrated effort to start making some progress and to really put his stamp on how police protection is provided in Rancho Cordova. And the funny thing is, Reuben is out there every day in his uniform, and he's actually made some traffic stops and participated as an active law enforcement member already. But we will continue that, and having the Sheriff's Department serve us actually provides more unified talent that we can take advantage of rather than have to go out and fund it ourselves.
Mr. Skoglund?
Yes, a shared command concept is what we have with our Sheriff's Department and our Rancho Cordova Police Department. And that provides for us the helicopter service, SWAT also, and the police department itself, we've also added more motorcycles to our motorcycle division, which has helped patrols in the area also. I feel personally that they've done a good job. They will grow as we grow, which is very helpful. They have good leadership there. I'm looking forward to working with the new chief. The past chiefs, as my colleague announced, have been very quality people and helped build it to the point where it's at now. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you very much. I wish I could agree with the 2 candidates, but I can't, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, there has been concern by citizens in terms of the tactics used by the Sheriff's Department. Our Sheriff's Department or city police should be one where you can approach and get assistance. That hasn't been the case. I have been asked by Chief Meeks to participate in a citizens committee to help him. I will do that. I bring with me many years of experience in getting rid of drugs and gangs. I will work with him because I believe the city can do better, and I don't put the police officers down. If anything, I would encourage more training. I would encourage more participation by citizens to improve our relationship with our law enforcement community and to bring us all together to work for the common cause.
Ms. Blanchard will pose our next question.
This
and
is-
the
yes,
first
this
candidate
is-
will be Mr. Skoglund.
Excuse me. This will be sort of a follow-up, actually. The city will soon be renegotiating the contract with the Sheriff's Department for police services. And would you favor the establishment of an independent Rancho Cordova Police Department?
Thank you. It's true, in December we will start negotiations for the next contract if we decide to go with the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. The city has been watching very closely the startup of Elk Grove and Citrus Heights and the effects of them building their own police department and implementing it. They both started out with $25 to $30 million in reserves to do this. I don't really feel that our city has that in reserves at this point in time to be a standalone police department. So I don't think that we will be excuse me, participating in being standalone, but doesn't mean we can't get some better quality and service. As far as length of contract, they probably want 5 years. We might go less than that. I don't know. So, but thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. Currently, I believe that we can keep the law enforcement community that we have now. We will have to work with them. I don't foresee us in the future right away going to an independent or better yet, our own city police. I think it's important that, that we work with what we have right now and that we have a strong law enforcement in our community presence. Together, I believe that we can work things until that day when we have to separate. But until then, I stand firmly behind our current law enforcement community, and I hope to be working with them to improve their image and working relationship with our citizens. Thank you.
Ms. Budge?
We are constantly working to make sure that all of our outside contracts provide us the greatest return on our investment on our taxpayer dollars. Our city manager has made it quite clear to the Sheriff's Department that we will go with the department for the first few years of existence, and a significant reason is the fact that we don't have the income or the revenue stream that would support funding a new police department. So we look very carefully at our neighbors in Elk Grove and in Citrus Heights, watching their experience to see how it goes. But again, what we have right now with the Sheriff's Department is a more economical situation for us. The shared command means that we pay a portion of our chief and of the sheriff's contract, and the East area pays a portion also. And again, it gives us the shared talent, the probation, the detectives, the crime enforcement that we all really need at this point.
Thank you. Our next question will be from Mr. Farrow, and the first candidate to respond will be Mr. Hernandez.
Rancho Cordova residents often need to drive to our neighboring communities for some of our basic shopping needs. How would you attract a greater variety of businesses that would encourage us to shop in Rancho more?
Well, first of all, it's obvious that we don't have the buildings necessary in order to attract outside businesses. I think that goes along with the image. I think we really need to look at some incentives. As you're well aware, the first 3 years are crucial for any business. If they don't make it in those first 3 years, then you fold up. We've got to assure them that we want them there. We need clothing stores. We need a variety of different other stores in our area, but we need to work with them and to assure that they're going to survive those first 3 years. And so I would say some creative incentives.
Ms. Budge?
Now that we have new rooftops in town, we have a much better opportunity to bring new retail. Every one of us is frustrated by having to go to other places, and quite frankly, because we're running the vast majority of our city expenditures on our sales tax generation, it is critical for our own city survival that we grow our retail base. We have approved Lowe's at Cap Village. We have approved shopping centers at the intersection of Sunrise and Douglas. There is not a week goes by that one of us on the council is not asked to meet with the Economic Development Department and a potential retailer that I would either go into the area at Olson Drive, where we have Mervyn's and Target in shopping centers that are on sort of their last legs, or something that would replace a decayed and dying use along Folsom Boulevard. All of a sudden, people are taking advantage of what they see the assets of Rancho Cordova are, and new retail is coming. It's just hard to wait.
Mr. Skoglund?
Thank you. I agree with my colleague, Ms. Budge, that it's true. Time will tell. There is a lot of building coming into our direction as far as residential. And again, as she indicated, rooftops are what make the larger business come in, because that's what they're attracted to. We have a lot of jobs in Rancho Cordova, which will be attracting businesses also. And for instance, I can't even buy a suit in the city of Rancho Cordova. I have to go to Citrus Heights. But since we have a lot of jobs there, that's going to attract the building of homes, which is going to basically attract the retail to come in to service the homes, the people that live in the homes. But we do need definitely to form businesses and let them come in and assist them any way we can with being able to provide service to our community.
Thank you. Our next question will be from Ms. Blanchard, and the first candidate to respond will be Ms. Budge.
One of the issues that drove Rancho Cordova cityhood was the call for better code enforcement, things like abandoned cars and messy yards and abandoned shopping carts. 3 years later, how's the city doing, and what could they do better?
Code enforcement is one of those contracts that we constantly have to monitor for to ensure that we are getting the most for our taxpayer dollars, and right this minute we're not. I would be the first to admit that. We were asked in another forum to grade code enforcement, and I would give them only a B. At first, it was easy because years of neglect provided a lot of what's called low-hanging fruit. We towed a ton of cars. We did the obvious, but now we're not taking it to the next step. We are redesigning the code enforcement section. We've just hired a lady to be neighborhood services chief, and she will have code enforcement directly under her. They will expand code enforcement to the commercial sector. They will go back to the neighborhoods and revisit problems that have arisen in the last couple of years after we got all the cars towed out. It is something we work on a daily basis.
Mr. Skoglund?
Yes. I agree also that code enforcement needs to be improved in our city. It did start out well. First of all, we had an ordinance passed where we required problematic businesses that had a large amount of shopping carts to be responsible for their carts being off their properties. It made people be aware that you can't just leave your front lawn and let it go the way it is. You can't have a house, abuse a house in our city and get away with it. So code enforcement has worked in the past. Again, we're at a kind of a turn right here where we have a new director coming in. But the ideas that we want to see are with us. It's just implementing them to get going again, and we have some new ideas to strengthen code enforcement too. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. I've had the opportunity of walking a lot of Rancho in the last couple of weeks, and I can assure you there is a lot of illegal cars out there. I can assure you there is a lot of homes that need assistance. That image needs to change. There's illegal paint shops in the White Rock area. There's illegal body shops in the White Rock area. That area needs relief. That area needs someone to go out there and clean up that mess. I feel I have the knowledge. I used to live there, and I know the community there. And it's important that we look at all the activity, and our code enforcement has one heck of a job in front of them, and we need to work on providing more assistance in that area.
Thank you. Mr. Farrell will pose our next question, and Mr. Skoglund will be the first to respond.
How will you serve the needs of existing Rancho Cordova residents as homes under construction south of Highway 50 are being built and occupied?
If you're referring to new industry coming into homes being built and purchased, is that what you're asking about?
How will you serve the needs of existing Rancho Cordova residents?
Existing Rancho Cordova residents, okay. The older area then, okay. Obviously, the infill of businesses and areas in Riverside District, Rancho Cordova, is important. We've approved a lot of projects going into the River District area that have not been started or have gone to the project. Since we can't fund them all, they're usually private business and they have been delayed or abandoned or so, but I know at least a dozen that we've approved for the Riverside District and Rancho Cordova that have not come through. And some of those, we're going to really beautify certain areas of it too. It's not easy. We really need, first of all, to have connectivity with the newer area to the older area. That's going to basically allow people to go from one area to another, but assisting the people in the older areas is just through infill and through redevelopment. It's going to be one certain way to do it.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. I've had the opportunity of walking those streets, and there is a lot of homes that need assistance in the Riverside area, the north side of Folsom Boulevard. But I think it's going to take a partnership between the owner and the city. We must find new creative ways to work with the citizens, to improve their homes, to clean up certain areas. I think, again, a partnership that doesn't blame somebody. Let's just improve it. We need to get these areas from, I would say, West La Loma to Sunrise. There's a lot of homes out there, and we have one heck of a job in order to clean up certain owners' properties.
Ms. Budge?
On the 26th of June, we adopted our very first general plan, and it has a lot of unique strategies in it that are not common to other jurisdictions in this region. We have an economic development strategy, we have an urban design strategy, we have housing strategies. We know that there is a lot to be done, and we, for the first time, have funds in our CDBG funds, community development block grant funds, to help to remodel housing, and we hope everyone will call the city if they need those kinds of funds. We also, as you heard, we are working on not only the physical appearance of Folsom Boulevard, but also the land uses along Folsom Boulevard, so that it will be economically more viable. We are also, there is $1.5 million in our park renovation fee, and we worked with the Park District to get a significant grant for White Rock Park and for the Mather Sports Complex. So these are some of the things that we're doing for existing Rancho Cordova.
Our next question, we'll have the question from Ms. Blanchard, and Mr. Hernandez will be the first to respond.
The American River Parkway Plan, the document that will guide what happens there for the next 20 years, is currently being rewritten. Some have favored changes that would increase access to the parkway. Some want greater protections. What is your vision for the American River Parkway?
First of all, let me reassure you, in talking with the citizens along that area, they ask that it be left alone. Leave it to the way it is. Protect it. Where else in our community can you walk among turkeys as you go precinct walking? Where else can you see deer? Where else can you see coyotes at night? That area needs to be protected and left alone. It was here before we came, and it should stay that way. And I will do everything possible to keep it in the state that it's in and well protected and given back to nature where it belongs.
Ms. Budge?
Everyone in Rancho Cordova feels very special, has very special feelings about the American River Parkway. But it's been very difficult for us to have any real participation, real effective participation. And fortunately, we are now working with the City of Sacramento and Sacramento County on getting that voice in what goes on out there. 30% of our residents don't want any changes, 30% of our residents want it enhanced, and 30% of our residents want additional things that can benefit Rancho Cordova. This brand new document is a wonderful example of how the Parkway Update Committee anticipated investing in the parkway from Watt Avenue down to the confluence with the Sacramento River, but not doing anything in Rancho Cordova. Here again, we have to stand up for Rancho Cordova because we are being slighted. Every proposal that we have made for the American River Parkway is in a beautiful little booklet that is a public document.
Mr. Skoglund?
The American River Parkway is a gem amongst our 14 miles of stewardship we have for our control of the parkway itself. We deserve to be a voting type of participant in this process for the 14 miles of stewardship we have for there. I'm in favor of very limited recreational development there, maybe just naturalizing the channel that runs to the Soil Barn Farm, and possibly having an arboretum there, but that's about the limited amount of recreational development I'd like to see. We do need to preserve what we can there. There's some historical dredger tailings there in the parkway that should not be disturbed at all, I feel. So, but keeping it mostly the way it is what I agree with.
I think we have time for one more question from Mr. Farrow, and we'll begin with Ms. Budge.
Since Rancho Cordova became a city, what was the city council's greatest achievement and what was its greatest failure?
Oh, that's a good one, Ross. I have to say that even though we still have some very deep-seated issues, I really believe that upgrading our police protection has truly been our greatest success. Again, you know, we're working constantly on it every day, but we do have a level of police protection that we did not have before incorporation. The motor officers that we have on the street, the wonderful police cars in Lancer red and black, thanks to Dave Roberts, that's something that people are really proud of, and they do appreciate having those cars out there. Our biggest, the thing that we're still lacking truly is the code enforcement and generating enough money to really remodel the town as we want to. But I really think that we've made a great beginning.
Mr. Skoglund?
Thank you. Along with police protection, I agree with my colleague. I also agree and hope you've seen our new city hall. A lot of effort went into this. It is a gem for the area that it's in, which is our new downtown district. It makes you feel like you've arrived. It makes you feel like we are our city. We're full-fledged. We've got an area where we can have meetings, several different meetings going on at once. It's a real gem to use. Staff feels very good working there, which is nice to walk in and have a smiling staff that assists you with this, and very good environment. But it's for the next 10 to 15 years. It's going to be a gem where we can have any type of meeting there. Any type of organization can rent it. It's just been a great area to use. I don't really feel we have any disappointments or anything we haven't done yet. I just think we haven't completed other tasks, and we're still working on things, but there's no disappointments, nothing we've not forgotten. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Thank you. I think the City Hall is very impressive. I think first impression, last impression, when citizens come from other communities, is being utilized by a lot of other communities when we have meetings is a good central point. Now, the disappointment is part of the reason why I'm running. The citizens of Rancho Cordova feel that their current city council is not listening to their needs, and that's why I'm running. It is important that as we develop and grow, it is true there are a lot of issues, but it is important enough for the city council to listen to the citizens. Some feel that the citizens didn't leave Rancho, but the city currently left the citizens. And that's why I'm running. Thank you.
And now we'll conclude our forum with our closing statements. We'll begin with Ms. Budge.
Thank you, Kathy. Ladies and gentlemen, with each new day, it's my goal to do the best job possible in representing our new city in a manner that reflects well on Rancho Cordova. We've made a good beginning, but we have embarked on a very long journey towards creating that great future that is our vision. The issues that we are addressing have their roots in decades of neglect. There are no quick or easy solutions. It's true that our work isn't finished, but it's clear that we've made a good beginning. Rancho Cordova is moving forward again. Our new and unique general plan is the blueprint for how we want to remodel and how we want to grow. It truly considers the needs of all of our Rancho Cordova residents, young and old, and in all parts of our city. Our city council and our city staff work together as a team for the betterment of Rancho Cordova. As the cowboy poets say, we ride for the brand, and our brand is Rancho Cordova. I would be honored to again have your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Skoglund?
Thank you, Kathy. Rancho Cordova is on the right track. and our residents seem to agree. In a recent survey, 3 out of 4 responders said the city's making progress, with 64% expressing satisfaction to our outreach efforts. With your vote, I'll continue to work that we started by making Rancho Cordova safer, bringing better shopping and dining choices, and improving our streets and parks. I will expand Neighborhood Watch, assist our residents in creating more neighborhood associations, and reach out to our diverse population. My present endorsements are from the Sacramento County Deputy Sheriff's Association, Local Firefighters 522, all 4 city council members, Sheriff John McGinnis, and my honorary campaign chairperson, Susan Roberts. Together, we'll bring together a better quality for life for Rancho Cordova's residents and pave a bright future for our region. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to reach out to the citizens that are out there that are dissatisfied with the direction that we're going. As your council person, I will work hard for the values that we believe in. I have been endorsed by City Councilman Ken Cooley. I look forward in working with all council members. I look forward in bringing the city back to you. I look forward in cleaning up the gangs. I look forward in working with businesses, creating jobs so that we can get back on the job line, including but not the areas in certain areas. I want to work for the citizens of Rancho Cordova. I will listen, I will fight, and I will stand up for you. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Sacramento County and the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission, I'd like to thank our candidates today, Linda Budge,
Thank you, Kathy.
Dan Skoglund, and Pedro Hernandez.
Thank you very
Thank you very
much.
much for participating. And thank you to our panelists, Ms. Blanchard and Mr. Farrow. Thank you very much. This forum has been designed to impart information to you, the voter, in accordance with our belief that a democratic government depends on the informed and active participation of its citizens. We hope that the insights you have gained from this forum will aid you in making your decision. For voter information and rebroadcast times, please visit our Smart Voter website at www.smartvoter.org. Please vote on November 7th and help make our democracy work.